Busy day at the Knockout Academy.
Always busy.
Very busy day. Your fighter, Sergey Bahachuk, he's fighting March 4th in Puerto Rico. You've been in Puerto Rico before.
Yes, sir.
Just tell us about training camp for that. And Brandon Adams is a very credible opponent. He went 12 rounds with Jermell Charlo. Jermell didn't have an easy night that day.
That's right.
Tell us about the matchup.
No, we're getting ready for Brandon Adams coming March 4th in Puerto Rico. We're looking forward to it. We're going to have a tough opponent in Brandon Adams. I know he's going to be ready. And so are we. That's going to be one of the type of fights that there's going to be one winner at the end of the night. That's going to be the fans. And we're doing our best to get ready for the fight. We're having a great camp so far. Great sparring partners, and looking forward to it.
What challenges does Brandon present for Sergey? I would say he has more experience than Sergey.
Yeah.
This is a real step-up fight for Sergey. If he can do what he's done to his past opponents with Brandon, that'll speak volumes within the boxing realm.
No, definitely. Like I said, Brandon is a very credible opponent. He's tough. You said it. He's got experience. That's one thing that he's got on us is that experience. He's crafty. He can switch from the orthodox stance to the southpaw stance. He does it very well, so we've been preparing for that. He's that easy to hit. He makes it hard, which it will be a lot harder for us. He's not going to make it easy on us. As you know, Sergey's 18-0, 18 knockout. So if we want to get that knockout, it's not going to be easy. We're well aware of that, but we're ready. We're stepping up to a big challenge. We're stepping up to the plate, and we know it's not going to be easy, but that's what we're working as hard as we work as hard as we do.
Yeah, I'm going to put it. Are they going to have fans for this card?
I don't know. That's not for me to say. Hey, that's not it's not my concern. Whether they be fans there or not. My concern is to get my fighter ready.
Yeah.
For him to be 100% ready to go, ready for battle, and that's it. Because at the end of the day, it's just just you and the opponent up in the ring and no one else. Ain't nobody gonna fight your fight. So fans or no fans, so we gotta go up.
Does that fight put Sergey in world title contention?
He's already a top 10 rated fighter in the world, but it'll get us closer. Definitely, once we get that victory, it'll get us even closer.
Manny, I gotta ask you this question. I think is very relatable to you with your split with Andy Ruiz. But have you caught wind of the recent back and forth between Deontay Wilder and Mark Breland? I know you're not in their camp, but they've had a very ugly public falling out as of late. Mark Breland called Deontay Wilder untrainable, and in return, Deontay Wilder feels that Mark Breland has something to do with his performance the night of, to the extent of spiking his drink. What do you make of that fallout between them?
Honestly, it's pretty shameful, that it's had to come to this. I rather, you mentioned, I rather take the good and be thankful for, making him a world champion, for being there, for we did this together. We made history, and I'd rather take that with me. And take those positive moments, and just leave the negativity, leave it up, leave it out of the way. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and talk bad about any fighter, especially Andy. I wish him nothing but the best. I have nothing but respect for him, and I know that the only thing I have to say about Andy, and I've said this before, and I don't think there's anything wrong with what I've said, is it's up to Andy. Andy can get back on top and become a world champion again. But like I said, it doesn't matter who he trains with. He's got to want it. He can train with Reynoso. I said this. He can bring back Emmanuel Stewart. Emmanuel Stewart and Angelo Hernandez back for the dead, and it still won't make a difference because at the end of the day, the fighters got to want it. That's all I said. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that, right? But going back to Deontay and Breland, it's nasty. It's a bad situation to be in. Sometimes you can't correct silence. So sometimes it's better just to stay quiet and just to turn the other cheek, man.
Is there such thing as an untrainable fighter? That's what Mark Breland said, and he got a little specific. He mentioned how It got to the point where I think Deontay felt he knew more about boxing, or what he thought he was doing was good enough that he didn't have to work on his jab or even hit the punching bag or do the speed bag. I guess he was just doing mid-works, things that he felt was enhancing his power. He was on that amazing knockout streak. But is there such thing as an untrainable fighter? I know with your experience with Andy Ruiz, is there a point to where a fighter can become untrainable to that extent? Or?
I think so. I think it happens. I think you can find fighters like that in boxing where they no longer become coachable. You know, it's happened to me in the past, and it just, you know, when shit hits the fan, you know, at the end of the day, it's it's the coach's fault.
Someone gets blamed
when things don't go right, and unfortunately, but it's the nature of the business, man. It's something that we have to as coaches, we have to live by, and you just gotta have thick skin, man. Gotta go thick skin in this sport, you know. It is what it is, but there are fighters that they reach a certain level. Even I was just talking about that earlier with a friend, how I've had amateur fighters that have come in to my camp, my gym, and with an attitude, just because they won a couple of amateur tournaments or the Golden Gloves or whatever the case may be, and they feel like they come in with a chip on their shoulders, and they feel like, you know, I'm it. And, you know, you have to learn in order for you to be great, you gotta learn to be coachable. You gotta be coachable. You have to be able to. Sergey Bohachuk, when he came in, 17-0, 17 knockouts, I came in. Okay, 17-0. So doesn't mean you know everything. You're here to get better. You're here to learn. You're here to add more knowledge and add more
tools to your arsenal.
And that's been the case. That's why he's such a pleasure to work with, because he doesn't have that type of attitude. He's here to learn. He's always working hard. He's got one goal in mind, which is to become a world champion. So, you know, let's hope we get there.
Now, I know you weren't obviously in the Wilder camp when he was training with Breland. But was there a specific maybe like day or moment that you remember where Andy started slipping away from you? Were like, man, if I could go back in that day and maybe just change that day or anything to that extent, like things could have been different or something. You know, was there ever that one moment like in your mind that sticks out that said, that's the day I lost him completely? Or
when he won a world title, when he beat Joshua.
That night, literally that night.
Not literally that night, but I mean, it's just what happened after that. It's just I didn't see him for a few months, and then when he came back, he wasn't in shape. Obviously, he wasn't the same person, unfortunately. And that is what it is, you know. I mean, I try to convince him. I try to talk to him and try to motivate him. But I mean, like I said, I mean, dude, you're a world champion. I mean, what more motivation do you want than that? Than knowing that you're the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. You know, you're on top of the world, man. And now what? Now, go defend it. Go do it again. But get other ideas in mind, and unfortunately, you know, we weren't able to go back and like we did the first fight and repeat history. And it's just one of those things, you know. But like I said, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of Andy's career. We're all looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing him back in the ring and kick ass. Like, because I believed in him. Most people didn't, but I did. I mean, I believed in this kid and he's special, man. Andy's special.
He has one thing that's hard to, you either have it or you don't. Along with the ability to take a punch, you either have it or you don't, but speed is a gift. Not every fighter has it.
Right.
You always walk into the gym, you see guys throw these 10-punch combinations, but in a fight, the speed's not there, and it's not the same, and Andy's always had speed. Do you really think that if he gets his everything together, that he can be back on top again, that he can be...
No doubt. There's no doubt in my mind that Andy can be successful. And it's hard. It's hard. There's no guarantees, man. Look at some of the champions out there. Look at Tyson Fury and obviously Big Joshua and some of these other top contenders, world-class contenders. It's hard. It ain't easy. That's why you got to work hard. You know, that's the reason why you got to work extra hard. You got to want it. You know, you got to be hungry, and if he can get that back, there's no doubt in my mind that he can get there again.
Does Anthony owe Ruiz a third fight? Even based off
No, because if there was, they would have set that up already.
No, in terms of like him owing like on a, yeah, go ahead.
Can I just borrow those 2 chairs? 10 minutes to do the interview?
Yeah.
We're just putting in your office.
In terms of just that as a man-to-man, because Ruiz gave him the rematch. I know it was contractually obligated.
Yeah.
But do you feel that as a man, Anthony owes Ruiz a third fight, or if Ruiz can get back on his toes?
You know what? I could say that, but he got shut out. We got shut out. I can't say he. We.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We got shut out. We got shut out in that fight. And if it would have been a close fight, absolutely. People, he deserved a rematch, but we didn't. It wasn't close. We lost.
So if Andy was a trilogy, he's gonna have to earn it, so to speak.
You gotta earn it.
Like take the proper
I've always
fights.
said this. Look, in boxing, it's not winning; it's how you win. But the same thing goes for losing.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's losing, but it's how you. Sometimes you go out there and get shut out and get stopped in one round and. There goes that, right? But what if you go out there and give it all you got and make it a close fight, make it a fight that fans want to see again? Then
like Marquez Pacquiao, Marquez kept losing, but they kept
giving him an opportunity, and people kept demanding that fight. They kept wanting that fight. Mickey Ward and Arturo Gatti, and Marco Antonio Barrera, Eric Morales.
Does
Israel Vázquez, Rafael Marquez.
This is actually Israel's old gym, right?
Exactly.
Speaking of Andy and Wilder, do you think that's the biggest fight outside of Joshua and Fury? And would it be smart for Wilder to jump into that kind of fight? And Ruiz himself coming off the performances that they had, what do you think of such matchup?
Between
Ruiz and Wilder, is that like?
Oh, Ruiz and Wilder.
Yeah.
It's doable because they're both with
PBC. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So it's definitely doable. That's an easier fight. That's an easier fight to make than Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua, because now we're dealing with different promoters. The promoters have to be willing to
networks
work with one
and
another.
All that, yeah.
But when you have both fighters that belong to PBC, that's an easy matchup.
You like that matchup?
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think of it? If it goes down, they both get. I don't know if maybe it could just happen off the bat. Who knows how they're thinking as fighters? But with a couple of wins or whatever, stylistically, how do you see such matchup?
It's a great matchup, man.
Knockout for sure. You think?
I think so. I think there'll be a knockout either way. I think there'll be a knockout. The fans won't walk away disappointed in that matchup. That's for sure.
Does that fight make sense to you for them at this point in their careers, or do you think
it makes sense? It makes sense, but I think it'd make more sense. To let's just say Andy hasn't fought in 14, 15 months now.
About 2 years.
So he's got to get in the ring and fight.
A couple of tunes for both guys,
maybe. But he's got to maybe one, maybe two. But he's got to get that ring rust out the way and get back in the ring and get back in shape and fight.
Yeah.
Hopefully sometime soon.